Welcome back, guys. So this time what we're going to be working on is fish wander or roaming. So we want the fish to be able to act more natural, and so we want the fish to wander around the map, sometimes in groups. And we also want collisions with the islands. We want the collisions to be avoided for the player, but every other creature should be able to collide with it to stop them from reaching the player. So it's not a lot to do today, but let's just get started. Here we go. So we want to first of all set a temporary fish, or possibly proper one if we set it up later. But we'll set it up just as we've done our food. And this is only going to be very temporary, this fish. It's just to create the wandering. I've turned off everything else and I'm creating the script wander. So create some basic float, some basic information such as speed and how long we want the fish to hold a specific position. So hold time and when it starts, as well as the borders. We want to be able to get the wander position, but we also want to be able to get the borders of where that wander position can spawn, where the fish is going to go to. Once we've got the borders in, we determine at the very start that the hold time should be equal to the start hold time, and we get the positions vector, and we want it to equal a specific position based on the borders that we've created. And we'll assign the specific borders numbers in the inspector, which is why I've made it public. So once that's done and we've got our border and we've got our range, what we want to work on next is, while it's being updated throughout, we want to get a new position. So we want it to move towards that position that's been selected based on the wander position at a certain speed. So it'll go to that object, so if it was less than or equal to 0, then it'll get a new border, get a new position, the wander will go somewhere else. Otherwise it'll carry on going down, the whole time will carry on ticking down. So once that's all been put in, and we've got a wander script on our fish, then we'll end up creating a wander point, and then putting all our specific times and such in to our specific variables. So there we go, determined the borders, and we've gotten our spawn point, transform, position, and that's constantly changing throughout while we're playing. And as you can see, our fish is moving, they're holding, and it's working perfectly. I then set it back to private just so I don't need to see it, because it isn't needed to change. I just wanted to see that it was actually working. Once we reach a specific point, we set it back to the original time so that it can tick back down. We make a prefab of the wander point so that we can just spawn it in if we need to. And as you can see, it's working, the fish are wandering around the map. We set it to all of our different fish. Okay, now we want to put it onto all of our different fish, including our green fish. Once that's done, now our fish are all moving. And now we want to work on collisions. So we want the player to be able to enter the islands, but right now everything's a trigger, including the player. So we want to be able to disable it so that it's no longer a trigger for the specific player and the islands. So we want all of our specific fish and our enemies to be able to get stuck by the island, but not the player. So as you can see, the player can go into it. So there shouldn't be really much difference. The only thing is that we need to now turn off our islands, get rid of their trigger. Once that's done, now the fish and the enemies won't be able to enter the islands, but the player will be able to. You can see it's working. We also changed the sorting, I believe, for the player as well, for the enemy, so that they're above the island, so that they don't get end up below it. And then we increased the size of the border for the wander point, so it can spawn anywhere in that area. And there we go, so now we have our fish wandering around the map. We also are able to enter our island, but the fish and the enemies aren't able to. Okay, so next time what we're going to be doing is we're going to have a runaway behaviour for the fish, so if the player gets near them, they'll run away. See you next time.